Are you guys ready to repair some surface mount electronics badly? Stay tuned. I'm no Louis Rossman, I don't do this for a job, but if you want to learn how to do it, you could probably look at his videos and understand it, and it's really great, and it's really awesome stuff. But I do like to fix electronics that I can get for practically free that only have little minor problems. So we needed a portable audio solution because we're setting up everything from scratch. Behold, the Tascam 60d Mark II. It's not the greatest portable audio recorder in the world, but it's not the worst either. So what this does is this records up to 4 tracks of audio in a portable fashion, you know, to a micro SD card. I'm basically able to take 4 different channels of audio and record them on a micro SD card and sort of mix it however I want and send it back into the camera. And so ideally, the name of the game here is that we do all the audio mixing in hardware, and then we don't have to fix it later in software because we can send a stereo mix out to this thing. And if we don't have this, then you end up in really weird situations where the left microphone goes to the left channel and the right microphone goes to the right channel, and then everybody's like, why is everything on the left in the left ear, everything on the right in the right ear? I mean, you can fix it in post, but I'd like to minimize the amount of time that we have to spend in post doing those kinds of things. If you capture it right to begin with, you don't have to worry about that. It's the same with audio. You know, with good audio, the trick is getting the microphone close to your mouth so you have reasonable audio. For this audio, I'm using a lav mic in a slightly echoey room because I'm trying to show you the hardware. We've got an analog mixing board for more permanent installations, but when we need to go to the lab or we need to take the camera around, this is what we're using. We don't really want to waste money on a bunch of crap that we don't need. Plus, I know how to electronics, so we can fix this and make it fine. Well, what was wrong with it? Well, not really anything. It was actually completely operational, except for the USB port. The USB port, theoretically, I thought, would let you charge the batteries and also run the device, because in the menus, there's a menu option that says, what kind of batteries are in me? Nickel metal hydride or alkaline? Usually when you see that kind of an option in the menus on a device like this, you're turning a charging circuit. But instead of having a menu option that says charging circuit on or off, because if you turn a charging circuit on and you got alkaline batteries, that's a fire waiting to happen, or that's a leaky battery waiting to happen. But no, there doesn't seem to be a charging circuit in this thing. It doesn't seem to charge nickel metal hydride batteries, at least I can't find mention of it anywhere. So if I'm wrong about that and it does actually charge, let me know. Put a link in the description. Come to the forums, I don't know. But we couldn't power it off USB either because it's really not a big deal to put a USB battery pack for this thing. On 4 AA's, you can get about, and using 3 or 4 channels, you can get about an hour and a half-ish of recording out of this, and I would like to have just a little bit more because sometimes we'll leave it in test mode or sometimes we'll leave it set up. And you know, sometimes it's a tripod shot, sometimes it's a run and gun. On a tripod, I'd like to just have the battery pack, you know, sort of on the tripod ready to go. So that's neither here nor there, but we didn't want to spend a bunch of money on something new. So we're gonna take it apart and repair it. Now the teardown on this, it's pretty straightforward. There's just, you know, a sandwich of printed circuit boards. Basically, you just need to take off the little rails in the front here. The little rails in the front are designed to basically prevent the buttons from being broken should it fall face first. And then you've got all the little connectors on the side and the button on the side. And of course, the thing that we need to fix, the USB socket, is buried inside this thing. So we have to take out all manner of screws. Then once we did that, we're able to see that the USB connector has actually been ripped from the board. So it's not just that this is a matter of something needed to be resoldered. The physical lands for this are missing. Now this micro USB connector has 5 pins. One of them has no connection. You've got power and ground, and then data plus and data minus. So this can be used as a card reader. I don't care about card reading. All I care about is power. So what we're going to need to do is repair it. But since the traces are physically gone, I mean, the ground pad's okay because the ground pad's huge, so we can make that work with the solder blob. But the power pad has just been completely ripped off the board. What we're going to do is take a single strand of copper wire. Now this is normally very resistive. This would not work if this device used a lot of power, but since it doesn't use a lot of power on USB, we can get away with this, although you might have to experiment a little bit to find out exactly what gauge of wire that you're working with. We're going to solder a single strand of copper wire on this to the first pad that we can see. Now I've got a shit USB microscope that I got for like $12 in Taipei or $20 or something like that because it was a really good deal and the picture was really good for what it was. So I've got my USB microscope hooked up and we can sort of see the board. I mean, look at all this crud. This is just junk and just badness on this board. Ugh, this is terrible. but this will let me see and make sure that I don't have a short and that nothing bad is going on. So we're going to solder the connector, we're going to solder the single strand of copper wire directly to the board and make sure that the connection is good using a resistivity meter or an ohm meter or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it'll just beep if there's a short. And so we're going to check and see if there's a short between ground and the data positive wire. We'll need to look up on the internet what the pin out of this thing is to confirm which pin is power, but I pretty much know because you can look at it and you can say, oh, this is the ground pin and power is going to be on the opposite side. So not really a big deal. And we know which pin is the no connection pin, although in this case it does look like the no connection pin actually has a connection of some kind. I can see a little bit of a land there, but that's okay. We're going to use the hot air to rework and remove the existing connection. And then I've got this old shit memory card reader. It's USB 2, it's slower than Christmas. We're going to steal its USB connector, also using the hot air adapter, clean up the connections, and then basically just resolder this USB connection on here. Then once we've done that, we're going to look at that under the microscope and make sure that there are no bridges or anything. Looking under the microscope now, I can see that, you know, everything basically looks pretty good except for this junk on the board. Probably should have used more flux. You can never use too much flux, but I didn't, so whatever. Let's hook it up and see if it works. Yeah, we've got USB power on the screen. This is great. So basically, we've been able to solve that problem with this thing. You know, a couple hours on a Saturday afternoon, and basically getting our audio recording gear for pretty much free, almost free, not quite. I mean, we got it on eBay, and you know, it was broken, but less than half off, or less than half. So I feel like we did pretty good. And it's got my two XLR inputs, so we can use it in a studio setup if we want, but it's also got the 3.5 millimeter inputs as well, so we can use it with things like the wireless camera. So all in all, pretty great. Pretty quick, easy electronics repair. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you guys want to see more stuff like this in the future, let us know, because I don't know, we're still experimenting, who knows. See you guys in the forum.